What's up, everyone? It's Russo. Hope everyone is doing well. Today, I'm going on the casting couch as usual. I'm going to be going over, again, when I look at, like, bodybuilding, like, YouTube in general, again, a lot of people be like, oh, he's going to be dead when he's 30, he's going to be dead when he's 35. And again, in my opinion, looking at it scientifically, I don't really see all the evidence about that. But again, there are cases where a lot of bodybuilders die young. Again, it's different the way you take on dosages, you know, how heavy you are. So I really wanted to go in, like, what kills people as far as the bodybuilding lifestyle, and really what brings the downfall of some of these bodybuilders.
Well, I think, to start off, the big thing is mental stability.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that are taking steroids lack the mental stability in the first place, and they're looking for a way to, get something that they don't already have. A lot of guys take steroids too young or too early, and they're not doing research and not prepared mentally for what could happen or how to control the side effects like the estrogen, the cortisol, prolactin, just overall the ups and downs of your hormones. When you take one hormone, it's not just that one hormone being affected. There's a cascade of hormones that also become affected. And sometimes you really...
It's a balancing act.
Yeah, and it's very, very difficult to do without blood work. You're just taking a guess. And sometimes there's no problems. Other times there's big issues. And one of the biggest things is with the mind, your serotonin levels and the way your mood feels. So when you're on steroids, you're going to feel good, of course, So when you go to come off steroids, let's say, most guys don't get on steroids and think, well, I'm going to be on steroids for the rest of my life. Sure, some do, but most of the time you're going to come off.
Yeah, most people just jump right into it, get big quick type of thing.
So they hit it hard, then it's time to come off, and they're dreading it. Some of them, they get scared to even come off because they don't want to lose what they did gain. And so that could either lead to abuse of high dose continuing for, half a year. Other guys, they do come off. They know they have to, so they do. But they don't know what to do, and they don't take a PCT. And mentally, it just wrecks you.
Them,
yeah, and that's where depression kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
You can become depressed. You can get anxiety.
Right. I think all the suicide related to bodybuilding is that exact scenario of people coming off with without PCT, having the estrogen of a pregnant woman sky high, zero test, cortisol through the roof. Again, that's going to really leave you emotionally ruined.
And testosterone itself is like an antidepressant. So if your test is low, you are going to feel bad. I mean, that's one of the symptoms of low testosterone. And, that alone can make you think, things that you normally wouldn't. And you're losing all your size, and you don't know what to do, and you have no sex drive.
Everything's going downhill.
Just totally getting, everything.
So that's not even directly related to the gear. That's just uneducation on what happens in the body and how to prevent that.
Yeah, and I mean, some guys just can't take it even when they do a PCT because they're still not the same as when they were on. They're not enhanced anymore, and they start losing size, and they just mentally they have this image that they got to look like, and most of these guys will never get there because even when they get there, it just keeps going. So it's like chasing the magic dragon.
It's like when you modify a car. Like, I'm just add this. Next thing you know, Whipple supercharger, whole differential.
And it's not enough.
Right.
You just keep going,
Yeah.
So that's an addictive personality, and most of us have that. If we're bodybuilders, you have to be good at it. You're going to the gym every day because there's something in your head that tells
people don't understand what the top level bodybuilders, just to get to that level, the mental, the relentless drive,
the dedication.
Yeah,
because I mean, just the drugs alone, the protocols, the food, the training, it's non-stop. I mean, it's all day, every day, and it's not fun. I mean, it's painful.
It's not like a sport where when you're done with practice, no, it's like thinking about the meal, thinking about your gear, what needs to change, thinking about your water retention. Just constantly thinking about it.
Yeah, and if you're like me, and you do your research and you try to do things as best you can, that can even drive you crazy because then so many things because you see, I see blood work all the time, kidney issues, heart issues. You start thinking yourself, am I going to have these issues? You start, because you know that they're out there, you know that they happen,
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're doing, and you know it's probable that at some point you're going to have some of these issues. So you start becoming paranoid.
Right.
I've been that way. And that can eat you up too. And that can really mess with your head.
I think the number one killer is just the weights now.
Yeah.
I feel like once you reach like 270 pounds of muscle, like your heart having to pump all that blood through all that muscle is what's really takes a toll. And then when you add on top of that mental illness of, this is who I am. I'm Big Russo. Like, I always have, like, people associate me as the fucking freak at the gym.
Yep.
I have to stay this size, and then that's where that health problems start to kick in. Again, we made a video on long-term side effects where, again, he's talking about the thickening of the blood, the long-term hardening of the heart. Again, when you're at that size, I think that just adding a multiplier onto everything. And I feel like when I look at all the bodybuilders who die, it's the mass monsters. It's the people who are just pushing the limits, obviously with the gear, but with the food, with the lifestyle in general, and just didn't want to shrink back down. Because, again, I watched the Joe Rogan podcast recently, and they had Dorian Yates on, and I feel like he has the right mentality. He didn't have that mental illness. Because they pulled up pictures of him when he looked like a freak for the Olympia, and he was winning the Olympia. And, like, Joe's like, now you're back to a normal man. And, like, Dorian's like, that's what I had to do at the time. I got a lot of success out of bodybuilding, but now it's a new chapter of my life. And, like, Dorian did downsize. But, again, a lot of people, again, they're just mentally not that strong. And, again, a lot of people get into bodybuilding for, again, not the wrong reasons, but to build self-confidence and to feel stronger about themselves, to get whatever it is. It's about an insecurity. And the people who make it to that elite level of being that big, again, it all started from an insecurity. And I feel like that is what really takes out a lot of the bodybuilders, in my opinion.
Well, like you said, if they're overweight, when you have that kind of muscle, your body mass index is off the charts, and that's worse than being obese on your body.
Right.
Because of all the blood, all the muscle demands more blood than fat does. And then, like you said, also mentally, when you're in the gym, you start to lose even just a little bit of size.
You're going backwards.
Everybody
and
comes
worked
up
so hard to get to this point,
and it goes so fast. And guys will be like, what happened to you? You're getting small. What are you doing?
Right.
And that, you can't get around that. No matter who you are, guys are gonna say that stuff to you. It's just the way it works. And like you said, you got to be comfortable. Yeah, if you do have that insecurity, use bodybuilding to get to that point where you realize it's not just about the muscle. It's about who you are and finding yourself while doing it.
Right.
So then when you get to that point, you have to be able to let it go. You got to realize that your health is more important, and you got to make those correct decisions. It's hard to do. But if you don't, you're gonna have to.
I feel like the people who don't flip the chapter,
yes,
those people who
pay the price.
Right.
So that's big. Another thing that I don't think we talked about is that addictive personality. A lot of times goes into other things. Drugs and alcohol. Many bodybuilders have opiate addictions, and that's been around for years. Guys were using Nubane at one time. Heroin's big now. Oxycodone, fentanyl. I mean, these painkillers, because you are in a lot of pain. You're tearing yourself up every day. Your body aches when you're lifting heavy weight. And to be a good bodybuilder, a lot of times you have to have smaller joints. Well, they can't take the pounding of all those weights all the time for 15, 20 years. You're going to get arthritis. You're going to hurt. And it's very easy if you take that pill one time and it goes away and you feel it. I mean, the feeling is indescribable. I mean, I was addicted myself, so I know what it's like, and it's very difficult to quit.
That almost took you out.
Oh yeah, very easily. I was on my way for sure. So and when you're able to get that stuff, you have the access and you have the money. Why wouldn't you? It's very hard to say no, and that's where that addictive personality can get you in trouble in that aspect as well. Because then you're multiplying your heart, your kidneys, your organs, your liver.
And then I would say your kidneys, again, with the high protein diet, plus the thickening of the blood and having to filter that, again, it just comes like eventually it's the people who don't scale back are the people who are no longer around, in my opinion, or the people who are genetically prone to having a kidney issue, a liver issue. Again, obviously gear and the lifestyle of bodybuilding is just going to accelerate to that point.
And, it definitely happens. Not everybody has the same genetics. Some of the guys that are going to choose to take steroids may have a pre-existing condition that they don't know about, and the steroids may speed that process up, and it's going to happen. There's no way to prevent that. So you never know if that's going to be you. You just got to try to enjoy your life, enjoy what you're doing, and live every day, because any of us could be gone any day,
right?
Really. So definitely, it's very common.
Well, I feel like I feel like a lot of bodybuilders do live to old age, who again retire from it. But I feel like the people who really try and be that freaky mass monster are the people who pay the price.
Yeah,
it's just my thoughts.
And back in the day, when they were really like starting to push the limits of steroids, like guys would die and their liver would just, some of them, their livers were just full of bloody cysts from running tons of oral steroids, 100 milligrams of D-ball. I talked to a guy the other day. He's 35 and he was running 70 milligrams of D-ball for a year and a half straight with test and DECA. That's his TRT. And I said, man, what are you doing? Have you thought about your liver? But some people
get it tested.
No. Nope. And some guys just don't think about it until they have problems. When you're laying in a hospital bed and you need a kidney transplant, or you're on the heart transplant list, you're not going to feel good. And that's, I don't know. I think about dying a good bit, maybe because now I'm happy in my life and I've been through a lot. Now I have a daughter and another child on the way, so I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die yet. So to me, that's what keeps me from getting crazy and doing really insane stuff. I want to do as much as I can in moderation, but still, you got to be healthy.
You're huge, though. You're just not like...
Yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, but I'm definitely not pro bodybuilder level or anything like that. But, it's how much further do I want to push it? Because now I'm to the point where if I want to push it, I got to do more. So you got to be comfortable in your own skin, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest. Like we were saying, guys that have that insecurity, they use that to get them to a point to where they're happy with themselves and they're secure, they're feeling good, and then say they do come off, they start to lose that. I got to go back to get that feeling back. That's the only way I'm going to be fine. So I think that's where it catches up on people.
So again, the point of this video is it's not all about the gear. It's more about the usage and the underlying mental illness that some of these bodybuilders have that drive them down that road. And again, there are warning signs and there are ways to, again, pretty much mitigate everything, but they're going to ignore those warning signs and they're going to keep pushing and pushing. And it's basically, again, not everyone, like I do videography, I have all these different hobbies.
Right.
Again, some people are just strictly
just this.
Bodybuilding. This is their entire life, 15 years it took them to get to this point. And now some little health problem popped up. Oh, that's not going to stop them.
Yeah.
And then that's where it...
Yep.
We know people like that. They don't even get blood work.
Yeah, tons of people.
That's their life. You know what I mean?
And they're constantly on cycle. We know guys that are like 55, 60, running more gear than we use. And like a lot more, and look like they're gonna explode because their blood pressure's so high. Never get blood work. Ticking time bombs. That's what we call. We try to talk to them.
Maybe they don't care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Some people don't. They don't think the same.
It's whatever you want out of life.
Yeah.
But that's just some thoughts. Again, the whole point of this video, just because you're a bodybuilder and big doesn't mean you're going to croak at 30. But again, the reason why most people, well, some people do, is, again, what we just talked about. So hopefully this changes your perspective. Again, if you're new, stick around, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. Check out tgbsupplements.com. Social media link below. I will see you in my next one.